What?
Welcome, fellow nerds and aficionados of the bizarre. Today we embark on a thrilling journey through the twisted realm of Marvel Comics' most disturbing love affairs. From unexpected pairings to cosmic romances gone awry, we'll uncover the jaw-dropping tales that push the boundaries of love in the Marvel Universe. Get ready to cringe, laugh, and question your favorite heroes and villains as we explore the 9 most peculiar and downright disturbing relationships in comic book history. So grab your popcorn, tighten your capes, and let's dive into the strangest love stories Marvel has to offer. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Let's dive headfirst into the twisted and bizarre world of Marvel's most messed up love affairs. And what better way to start than with a bond between Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, the ultimate sibling duo. And I mean that, both figuratively and quite literally. From the get-go, these two have been inseparable, sticking together as if glued through thick and thin, be it on the side of good or evil. But brace yourselves, because in the Ultimate Universe, things took a turn for the downright disturbing. You know, the Ultimate Universe where creators went all modernize and contemporize on us, giving us edgy and fresh stories? Yeah, well, buckle up, because this one's a doozy. In comes Ultimates 3, courtesy of Jeff Loeb and Joe Madureira. Ready to shock us all. Turns out Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are way too close for comfort, like uncomfortably close. When Captain America politely asks Wanda to consider a less revealing costume for Christmas, Quicksilver throws a fit, not because he's overprotective as a brother should be, but because he's got another feelings for her. That's right, they went there, and it only gets worse. Shortly after this revelation, killed by some assassins, Scarlet Witch bites the dust. Marvel, seriously, what were you thinking? This storyline is like a tragic train wreck, fueled by awkward love affairs and messed up male fantasies. It's like they took every possible wrong turn on the writing map and decided to end up in the Grossville. In an industry that sometimes struggles to treat female characters with the respect they deserve, this ultimate fiasco takes the cake. So, dear nerds, let's remember the good old days when Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were just a loving sibling duo in the main Marvel Universe. And for the Ultimate Universe, let's pretend this twisted tale never happened and quickly move on to less cringe-worthy topics, shall we? Iron Man and Black Widow, shifting the spotlight on the infamous liaison between Iron Man and Black Widow, and boy, it is a doozy. Ultimates 3 is a story that left fans scratching their heads and critics tearing their hair out. It's like the writers got stuck in a creative black hole and decided to embrace the darkness. The once promising Ultimate Marvel imprint, known for its refreshing take on our favorite heroes, took a nosedive when Jeff Loeb and Joe Madureira took the helm. What started as an escape from established continuity quickly turned into a chaotic carnival of questionable characterization and outlandish plots. You open the first issue of Ultimates 3 excited to see what's next for your beloved heroes. But instead, you're slapped in the face with a graphic sex tape featuring none other than Iron Man and Black Widow. Seriously guys, who asked for this? Not me, that's for sure. To make matters worse, the tape is leaked to the public, putting Tony Stark and Natasha Romanoff's most intimate moments on full display. It's like a soap opera crossed with a reality TV show gone horribly wrong. And, as if the awkwardness wasn't enough, the tape is being sold on freaking DVDs. This is one heck of a shameless exploitation. The story then spirals into madness, throwing in unrelated action and battles with Venom, but let's be real, none of that really matters. This sex tape subplot feels like a cheap attempt at shock value, with no meaningful impact on the overall story. Gratuitous and gross, that's the verdict. I get it, love can be complicated and relationships are messy, but did we really need this level of awkwardness in our comics? The answer is a resounding no. Iron Man and Black Widow's romance, if you can even call it that, wasn't the issue. It was the unnecessary and tasteless display of it all. Even today, over a decade later, the memory of this cringe fest refuses to fade away. It's the kind of storytelling choice that leaves you wondering if there was a better way to reveal their affair. And trust me, we'd all prefer to forget it ever happened. Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn. Now hold your hearts, cause this one can shatter your hearts. I'm talking about the shocking revelation that Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man's first love, had an affair with none other than Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. In the Since Past arc, courtesy of J. Michael Straczynski and Mike Deodato, Spider-Man's world is turned upside down when adult twins Gabriel and Sarah show up, claiming to be Gwen Stacy's secret children. Apparently, while we all thought Gwen was the picture of innocence, she was busy getting tangled up with the Green Goblin. According to the tale, Gwen gave birth to the twins in France, but their Osborn goblin blood made them grow at an unnatural rate. As if that wasn't enough, Gwen promises to keep the kids away from Norman and raise them with Peter Parker. Well, that didn't sit well with Mr. Goblin, and it implied that this twisted revelation plays a part in the tragic events that led to Gwen's infamous fall from the George Washington Bridge. Let's just say Since Past is a story that few remember fondly, and for good reason. It's like the writers decided to mix up a portion of Bizarre and toss it into Spider-Man's timeline. This arc hits disturbing levels on multiple fronts. I mean, who wants to see the Green Goblin in an intimate situation with Peter's first love? Nobody, right? And then there's the disregard for decades of beloved character history, leaving fans scratching their heads and wondering what went wrong. To add insult to injury, Straczynski later tried to rectify this mess, but alas, the damage was done. Ms. Marvel and Marcus. It is time to discuss the twisted tale of Ms. Marvel, aka Carol Danvers, and her strange encounter with a full-grown man named Marcus. And trust me, this story reads like something out of an ugly dream. One fine morning, our beloved Ms. Marvel wakes up to the shocking revelation that she's 3 months pregnant. But wait, it gets weirder. In a matter of days, she gives birth to a fully grown man named Marcus. Now, Marcus isn't your typical guy. He is an immortal entity from the Limbo Dimension. And get this, he claims to have planted his seed in Carol's womb just so he could be reborn on Earth. What kind of twisted plan is that, Marcus? Seriously, you need to chill with the dimension-hopping birth plots. As if that wasn't enough, Carol falls head over heels in love with this Limbo man, and together they embark on a romantic journey. It's like Marvel decided to take the idea of a complicated relationship to a whole new level. And just when you think things can't get any weirder, it's revealed that Marcus used mind control to make all this happen. Avengers number 200, the issue that brought us this cringe-worthy saga, stands tall as one of the most controversial moments in Marvel history, and for good reason. I mean, we've got mind manipulation, interdimensional birth, and a not-so-love triangle that leaves us scratching our heads. What's worse, most of the Avengers seem to be cool with this whole mess. They just stand around failing to react to the absurdity of it all, while Carol ends up in the arms of a dimension-hopping lover, son, father, baby, daddy. It's like the writers threw logic out of the window and cheered for this strange romance like it's a parade. Thankfully, some readers and writers were not buying into this madness. Kudos to Carol A. Strickland for penning The Rape of Ms. Marvel in response to this debacle. At least someone had the sense to call out the absurdity. Wolverine and Hercules. Alright, fellow nerds, get ready for a love story that transcends dimensions and packs a punch like no other. Brace yourselves as we dive into the wild and wonderful world of Wolverine and Hercules, the most badass lovers in all of comics. In the Extreme X-Men series, we are treated to a multiverse extravaganza with evil versions of Charles Xavier wreaking havoc across realities. Members from different realities come together to form an alliance to put an end to this madness, and among the ranks are the team leader Dazzler, a severed Professor X head, and Howlett, a Canadian version of Wolverine with a dash of Teddy Roosevelt. But wait, there's more. Along this wild adventure, Howlett reunites with an alternate version of Hercules and sparks fly between the two. Turns out they're more than just battle buddies, they're lovers. Talk about a power couple that can kick some serious butt in both the bedroom and the battlefield. In Extreme X-Men number 10, during a moment of peace, Hercules and Howlett reveal their love story to the rest of the team. But alas, not everyone is accepting of their powerful romance. Zeus, the king of gods, throws a divine tantrum, furious that Hercules is mingling with mere mortals. As punishment, the lovebirds are banished to Tartarus, Olympus's dungeon and prison for titans. But hey, love conquers all, and they make the best of their situation, battling demons and damned souls like true champs. Hercules gifts Howlet with the golden metal of the gods, adamantine. With his bones and claws lined with his godly substance, our Canadian adventurer becomes an essential asset to the extreme X-Men, protecting them from psychic attacks and proving that love can make you invincible. Hope you enjoyed a love story that defies dimensions and shakes up the X-Men world like never before. Wolverine and Hercules prove that love knows no bounds, even when facing gods and cosmic threats. From fighting evil Xaviers to battling demons in Tartarus, these two show us that true love is the purest force in the whole wide universe. Iron Man and Gamora. Ever heard of this one? We knew Tony Stark had a playful life, but Iron Man getting kinky is a little disturbing, don't you agree? Anyway, let's begin without any judgments. Get ready to dive into the strange romance between none other than Iron Man and Gamora, the deadliest woman in the galaxy. Back in the day, Gamora wasn't the star she is now. When she first graced the pages of Strange Tales number 180 in 1975, she was a lesser-known character, the last of a kind, raised and trained by none other than the mad titan Thanos himself. With her killer martial arts skills, she became a force we are all aware of. Fast forward to 2013, in Guardians of the Galaxy number 4, written by Brian Michael Bendis and Corey Petit, Tony Stark and our beloved Iron Man gets the chance to cross paths with Gamora. And let me tell you, she's one green alien babe at the top of his bucket list. Who knew Tony had a thing for extraterrestrial beauties? Well, to everyone's surprise, Stark's pelvic sorcery seemed to work its magic on Gamora, and the next thing we know, they're in bed together. But instead of Tony bragging about the experience like he usually would, all we get from him is a simple ow. Now, don't get me wrong, we all know Tony Stark has had his fair share of flings and love interests over the years. But teaming up with Gamora takes the cake for the strangest and most unexpected romance in his dating history. Seriously, Marvel, who thought of this pairing? It's a reminder that in the world of Marvel, love knows no bounds, even if it takes us to the far reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Let's hope Tony's next romantic escapades are a little less ow and a lot more wow. Angel and Husk. Ready for the next one? Buckle up as we explore the infamous and bizarre love story between Angel and Husk from the Uncanny X-Men storyline, She Lies with Angels. A lot of drama is going on in the family meanwhile. Things get even weirder with Warren Worthington, aka Archangel, the leader of the X-Men team. He's been wrestling with feelings for Paige Guthrie, also known as Husk, for quite some time now. He even spills the beans about his emotions to her mum, which doesn't go down too well with Paige. I mean, Warren, come on, you should know better than to talk about someone's love life behind their back. But wait, it gets goofier. It's a hilarious, awkward twist. Warren and Paige end up having some intimate moments in the sky, right above her mum. Talk about taking love to new heights, literally. And as if that's not enough, bad guys show up to ruin the fun while they're mid-air screwing. Seriously, talk about bad timing. Unsurprisingly, the Warren-Page relationship doesn't last long past Austin's run, and it becomes one of those quirky stories in the Marvel Universe. But hey, let's give credit where it's due. This wild and wacky love affair embraced the silliness and over-the-top drama, making it a memorable, if not entirely sensible, addition to the X-Men universe. So, kudos for going all out on the mutual love front, even if it turned into one of those what were we thinking kind of tales. Doc Ock and Aunt May. This next one on the list will surely take you for a ride. Get ready to swing through the tangled web of romance between none other than Dr. Octopus and Aunt May. You know Aunt May, that sweet, supportive lady who's been there for Peter Parker since her early days in Amazing Fantasy number 15. After the passing of her beloved husband Ben, Aunt May remains mostly single, though she has had a few suitors trying to win her heart. But hold on, one of those potential beaux was none other than the multi-limbed villain Dr. Octopus. In Amazing Spider-Man number 131 by Gerry Conway and Ross Andru, we witness a most infamous issue that takes us down the aisle of an almost marriage between Doc Ock and Aunt May. You see, Dr. Octopus had taken up residence in Aunt May's house as a tenant, and he had his sinister eyes set on walking her down the aisle for reasons that had nothing to do with true love. The twist in this peculiar love affair involves Aunt May inheriting a nuclear facility from a distant relative. And you know what they say? Love can make people do crazy things. Doc Ock's motive was to get his mechanical hands on that nuclear facility through marriage, but as you can guess, things didn't go as planned. The whole concept of Dr. Octopus marrying Aunt May has become a bit of a laughingstock within Spider-Man's world, and not without reason. The story felt incredibly silly, and Aunt May was written as somewhat dim-witted, falling for Doc Ock's charm. Despite its ridiculous legacy, the idea of the two being together hasn't entirely disappeared. Even in Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man love story, an alternate take on Peter's life throughout various decades, Doc Ock and Aunt May's bizarre romance gets revisited. In that story, Doc Ock gives up his villainous ways and marries Aunt May, becoming Peter's uncle-in-law and science buddy. And if that wasn't enough, now you can even find an action figure set immortalizing this strange pair from the classic Spider-Man cartoon. Dr. Octopus and a blonde Aunt May, all wrapped up in retro VHS-style packaging, wink at us from toy store shelves. While it may not be a traditional walk down the aisle, for many fans, this action figure set is a quirky nod to one of Spider-Man's oddest love stories. Who would have thought that Dr. Octopus and Aunt May would form such an oddly enduring union in Marvel's quirky canon? Only in the world of comics, my friends. Thanos and Hela. Last but not the least, the twisted romance of the mad titan Thanos and the dark and deadly Hela, goddess of death. Talk about a match made in the darkest corners of the Marvel Comics universe. While the Marvel Cinematic Universe chose not to delve into this peculiar pairing, the comics took us on a whirlwind of an affair that could have easily shaken the big screen. In the comics, Thanos' motivation for acquiring the all-powerful Infinity Stones was all about impressing the living embodiment of death herself. Yep, you heard that right. Thanos was head over heels, or should I say head over skulls, in love with death, yearning for her affection and attention. But oh, the cosmic irony. Even with all the power in the universe at his fingertips, death still gave him the cold shoulder. At this stage enters Hela, the dark-robed beauty from the Unworthy Thor series, who approached Thanos with a tantalizing offer. She would promise him his true desire, death. In a head-spinning twist to see Thanos being all lovey-dovey, especially with someone who isn't his original love interest. But hey, comics love their strange twists. Their pact to pursue death never quite panned out as planned, as Thanos had a change of heart during the War of the Realms event. It seems breaking up with someone becomes a cosmic event when you're dealing with Thanos. Nevertheless, Hela was relentless in her pursuit of the Mad Titan. She even went so far as to resurrect him after his daughter Gamora decided to give him a little off-with-his-head treatment in Infinity Wars. You think their romance would have reached cosmic heights, but like many comic book relationships, fate had other plans. Both Thanos and Hela were sucked into a black hole, putting an end to their twisted love affair. As we know, love affairs do not always end up in the dreamy land. Let's just be happy that these two at least ended up together. Marvelous verdict. As we bid farewell to the world of Marvel's most perplexing romances, one thing is abundantly clear. Love in the comic book realm can be as strange and twisted as any supervillain's plot. From sibling love to alien entanglements, these love affairs have left us equal parts amused and disturbed. But fear not, fellow nerds, for amidst the bizarre, we find the charm and wit that makes the Marvel Universe so captivating. So as we close this chapter on the weirdest romantic entanglements, we are reminded that in the world of superheroes, even love has its own extraordinary, if not downright bewildering, superpowers. Stay tuned for more exciting adventures in the ever-strange and marvelous Marvel Universe. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.